Here we are, the lucky last SEPP Cooking Show for the Nantian Cultural Festival, and no doubt we will be having more cooking shows during the year, as cooking is such a big part of our life, eating is such a big part of our life, and the opportunity for spiritual practice and the opportunity for environmental practice is ever present in the kitchen and all of the associated things. So that's one thing about the Symbiocene, because we're taking the journey to the Symbiocene, right? The one thing about the Symbiocene is where we, as happy little humans, recognize the interconnectedness of everything. So when I pick up the knife, if I pick up the pot, then if I think about it, it's got so many connections in so many ways. It's got its connections from its history, it's got its connections from what it's doing at the moment, the things that are going to go into it, come out of it. And so our kitchen is connected to the environment and to the rest of society and people. And just a quick word on, here we are back with Glenn Albrecht's book Earth Emotions, New Words for a New World, and he makes a point about our use of the word environment, which is interesting and maybe a little bit challenging. We're so used to saying the environment and we have this nice good feeling about it, but I think he's saying that we can fine-tune the use of our words in some instances, apart from completely radically change the way we think about things. And so he suggests the word symbioment instead of environment. Because when we say environment, we might understand that we're placing ourselves as humans outside of the environment. And there's that, so we still have that concept of separation, whereas when we say symbioment, we're placing ourselves in the midst of everything. And so our connections with all the other beings and place around us, close by and far away, is reflected when we say symbioment. And so words can be such a powerful thing for giving us the concept of what we're thinking about and how to proceed with viable human living. And just to round off from our little SEPP chats, so we've talked about the journey to the Symbiocene, starting at the Anthropocene, where we see this desolation, we see feeling distress, and how we can come to terms with that distress, come to recognize the message that those feelings of solastalgia, those feelings of anger, depression, sadness, etc., there's a reason why we feel like that, because things are not good for those things where there's desolation, and we're looking at it and we're seeing the suffering of our brothers and sisters around the world, and so, you know, these are honest feelings, and it's not just a matter of like making them go away and getting on with it. I don't believe. It's more a matter of coming to terms with them, accepting them, honouring them, loving them even, and feeling that shock and shame as part of, and then developing from that the motivation to get on with working on that situation, applying ourselves to that situation in whatever way we can. And then we talk about the reliable way forward that we can have, and so the spiritual environmental preservation practice is one reliable way forward that we can have. We take the spiritual, which is the spiritual that you bring with you. There's lots of diversity in that, and we're looking to be open and accepting in that diversity. So that spiritual that you bring with you, how is it that we can draw on that in our practice with the environment, Symbiocene. And then we talked about the 8 ingredients of the SEPP, which is like a framework for how we can take this journey and the things that we can bring to that journey and how we can carry on together as a community with that journey. And this year, 2022, we will have another program of workshops, the Nantian 2030 campaign workshops every month. We'll have a study group, more cooking shows, a practice plan, practice path, and other things as well, community get-togethers. And also there's a great opportunity to volunteer as well and to participate in organising this and creating and holding this great community space that we have with the SEPP and the Nantian 2030 campaign. That's one of the things that people are feeding back to us, that in everything that's going on, it's wonderful to have a good, happy, loving space where we can get together and talk about these things and work on these things and express how we're feeling about it. And so thank you so much for looking on and participating, and we look forward to catching up with you during 2022. And it's now time for our super green cook to do the next big thing. Thank you, Ling.
Thank you so much, Tom, and thank you everybody, and welcome everybody. And the cat has been, even though you don't see the cat, even though you haven't seen me until now, the cat has always been with us. And so as many of our friends and volunteers from 2030 campaigned, and our masters,
And let's say hello to Giselle this morning, Joe, Priscilla from Malaysia, thanks for popping in, Shobar, and Craig. Good to see you, Craig. Hope the South Coast is doing well today.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Such a beautiful circle and such a beautiful way to end our last shows of the sessions. I can't believe it. 9 days has gone. 9 days starting from the 25th of December. But we're having fun. We were going to Nantian Temple and to spend the time with everybody. But spending time here in Blacktown, we also get to actually to meet with some of our friends. And remember, the videos are available on Zoom if you actually did not get to watch it.
They're available on YouTube too.
Yeah, on YouTube channels. We have got our 2030 channels, do you believe it or not? All right, so what I'm actually going to do today to celebrate our new year, to celebrate our time together, I just would like to express my gratitude to the country, our elders, past, present, and futures, our friends, our butterflies, our bees, our worms, our microorganisms that we don't normally actually see and mention, which plenty of them are in the ground. And here is something that we actually call rubbish or waste, but really this is a great present to our worms and our microorganisms that live underneath the ground, that keep us alive as we speak. The banana leaf, which I'm actually going to serve on today, I also acknowledge the banana trees and also the banana leaf as well. Now, what we are actually going to do today, I was actually thinking back to my childhood where I was growing up in Laos, where we don't have packaging food. And what we're going to do today is actually a celebrations where we don't use plastic back then, and we don't have chips and things like that to eat. So what do we do when we actually get together and we don't have much to you know, when we said not much, really, what does it mean? Okay, it's actually, I'm boiling the water, I apologize. Now, I would like to encourage everybody, if I can, to stop buying the sticks. You know, those comfortable sticks that is actually packaging into the plastic, the bamboo sticks, where you actually trade your fruit in there, where you trade your meat in there. It's packed with poisons. What can we do instead if we don't have the sticks? Well, let's actually have a look. This is actually basil. Basil is very, very easy to grow. So what you do, you just actually cut that into the strings like that. If you don't have a pair of scissors, knife will do as well. So depending on how big you want your sticks, you just chop them so. And a good thing about the using the fresh stick is that the aroma, it will actually go into your food as well. You can cook them because I only wanted that side, that's why. Another thing that you can actually use also is the perilla sticks. So just actually make the shape of it. Now I can hear that the water is boiled. If I wanted to, I have served some noodles, some dry noodle. So I'm actually going to serve some of them with the noodles as what we were doing in Laos. So I'm just leave it in there at the back here. And I'm just actually preparing this one first. What else that we can actually use instead of the bamboo stick that very comfortably come in the, I know it's actually not expensive at all. It's only $2, you know, that you actually go and buy it in the $2 shop. But what else can you use? The, we have got plenty of parsley that is actually, in fact, Thomas is actually called parsley forest. So depending on how big you want it, you just cut them in that length. You can leave some umbrella at the end as well. Another thing that, you know, like people are actually selling in the shop is the umbrella. You know, that little umbrella that you left on top for your cocktails. When you have a cocktail party, you go and buy that umbrella. I don't know what you call them, the decoration, you know, the umbrella decoration. So instead, another thing that I also use, you know, with the rosemary, I love rosemary. The leaf, I can dry them and I can use them for tea. The stick, I'm going to use them for my, I'll tell you the secret, the superfood in a minute, the super green in a minute. So what I'm actually doing, I just wanted to show you, to share with you what can we use for our sticks. If that is actually, just leave some greens on the top. There you go. I have got those one all organized. And I've got my beautiful banana leaf here as well. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to, actually I'm not going to do that first. I'm going to leave them here. I have got my tomatoes, whatever you like to have. I don't know, you can actually see. You can thread them through. You can thread them however you like it. And I also have got my grape as well.
Rosemary.
Grape is actually very good. You know, you can actually have your different colors. Can you see that one there? And I haven't actually finished with them yet because I have done some sauce. I have made some sauce, some very nice sauce.
I'm about to have my first satay stick with grape on it.
Tom doesn't really like grapes. Yeah, so you know, as you can actually see, I can just thread it through. Now I also have some apricot right here. What I'm actually also going to do, can you see how beautiful it is? You don't have to buy that umbrella at all. I also have some apricot here. You can use apple as well. In Laos, we actually would use the star fruit. You know, you can actually use different fruit that you can actually do that on the sticks like that. Okay, so that one go through. You can see how easy it is actually for it to go through. And this is actually lamb yong. I also wanted to acknowledge lamb yong as well, that they actually give us some lamb yong products to, this is actually the soil nugget from lamb yong. There you go, you can put 4 in there. Another thing what I'm actually going to do also, I have got this beautiful, this is all from our garden by the way. This is actually the beetle leaf. I have got a beetle bush out there, but I cannot find more of them. So with the beetle leaf, I wrap them up like this. And I poke it in. So I can actually have it with the beetle leaf as well. So this is, for me, is play. Why not play with your food? I know when we were growing up, our mother, every time when we actually want to play with our food, our mothers actually got upset with us. So we can actually have a combinations of beetle leaf in between like that as well. I promise I'll do one more and then I'll get on with the sauce. Okay, so this is another leaf that we can actually use. We can either actually pop the leaf in like this. You know, whatever you do, be creative. Honestly, be creative. This tomato is also from our house as well, from our garden. Have a bit of this, a bit of that. Put a little bit of greens in between. If the green is too big, just pop them out. Have another tomatoes in there. However you want to arrange them, there looks something like that. I'm sure, you know, when you're tapping into your creative bones, like Tom was saying, you actually can do so many things. All right, dressings. And to serve it like this, I have got more sticks to do, so I will do it afterward. So I just wanted to show you the dressing because I only have 15 minutes. All right, so this one here, what I have in here, just oil that, left over from there. I put some, chop up the garlic and the chili. I have that there, smells beautiful. And this one in the jar, let me wash my hand.
Garlic and chili sauce.
Yeah.
Ling, what is that? The garlic, chili, and what? And oil, is it?
In there is actually garlic. If you don't eat garlic, use gingers. Gingers and oil and chili.
Oil.
That's all. You can add soy sauce after this. That is okay too. Now in this chili sauce, smells beautiful. So in this chili sauce that I've actually have made, I have got the sesame seed. I have got the almond meal, lime, soy sauce, and a little bit of sugar. Now, if it's actually another dish that another sauce that I've actually have done in here. I don't know, you can actually see this sauce. I'm going to add something to it in a minute because it's actually a bit, I don't want it to be like this. I need it to be runny. So in here so far, I have got the fermented soybean paste. Bottles, please, whatever you can do the bottles.
Glass
bottles. And I have got some chilies in there. I also have got some, instead of peanut butter, I've actually used the almond spread. Or you can actually get whatever spread that is available. That is something that I've actually used. Another thing that I'm going to use to actually sweet it up, instead of sugar, use jams.
Warning. Sugar.
Okay. Once again, Tom is actually warning. Using jams. Jam, there's plenty of. Your friends actually always giving you jams. So, if you actually don't use jams in there, you can actually use apple juice, or you can use orange juice or pineapple juice. The 25% or the 50%, whatever percent that you actually have it in there. Now I realized that I did not have any lemon. I ran out of lemon. I also don't have any orange. So I'm just looking at the cat. The cat is so funny. She's actually just putting her eyes, her paws on her eyes. Very funny cat. So I don't have apple juice, I don't have lemon juice, I don't have actual lemon, and I don't have orange. What do I do? Vinegar. We have got plenty of vinegar. We can actually use the that vinegar, or we can use this vinegar. For me, vinegar is actually would be the last choice that I would actually use. So I have got two choices: to use that apple cider vinegar, or to use the balsamic vinegar.
That's something I saw in Taiwan that I hadn't seen before at the Regal Lotus Vegetarian Smorgasbord with 200 dishes. They had little stations where you could pick up a small glass of vinegar of different flavours, and quite delicious it was.
It's quite nice actually. So that way you can actually see that it's actually start to actually to be a little bit of runny. All I actually wanted to do is just to have this one runny. Like I said earlier, I can actually add all those juices that I mentioned, just to make that give it a runny, and also to give it that tangy. If you don't have lemon, I wish I actually have I can pick my own lemon. I do have got lemon trees lime trees in the backyard, but they haven't actually given me any fruit yet. All right, so there I have got it. The sauce is actually running like this. If this is actually a party, right, you can actually have 3 different sauces, and you can actually have your your fruit, your, what do you call this one, the
Sticks.
Your stick nicely organized, or put them on the stick for convenience or whatever. You can light it on the banana leaf, and after when you actually done it, the sticks can go add on to the compost bin for the worms and the microorganism. The banana leaf can also actually goes in there as well. So that's another thing that we can actually do. But give me a minute, please. Actually would like to actually to I don't know, you can actually see. Of course, like this is at home, so that's okay. But if you actually having friends over, you would not do this. You would actually have a separate bowls.
Must be good. Everything's gone quiet.
With the noodles, if you actually have time, we will just actually make the noodles into a little packaging. When it's in the water, you can actually do, this is a bit hot. What we normally do, we will wrap it up in our fingers like this. And when it's set, it will just set in a bundle. So if anybody would like to actually volunteer, even though you are in Malaysia, Priscilla, you can also volunteer as well. And Priscilla actually have got a questions earlier. What is it? How can we do our practice, our spiritual practice in our daily life, in what we do? Okay, now with the noodles, what I'm actually going to do, if I choose actually to have a noodle, I put the noodles in there. I pick up something there, and I could actually add a grapes in there if I want to. We would use star fruit and different things in Laos, but because we don't have star fruit, we just wrap it in there. And where's my stick? You would actually poke it to the stick with that, but if you don't actually have a stick, but you don't want to put it in the stick, you just add the sauce to it. When I put it into my mouth, as I chewed it, I can actually taste the grapes. I can actually taste the green. I can taste the noodles. I can taste the sauce, the chili in the sauce, the spice in the sauce as well. So it's actually really yummy, honestly. There you go. Celebrating our New Year's with our friends and our family, our 2030, our spiritual and environmental friends and family on sticks. Auspicious greeting. Thank you so much,